against his brother.
The film starts with the Jackson family moving into a home in Gary, Indiana, that they soon learn has a history of haunting its inhabitants. There, strange things start to occur, from an influx of flies around the house to strange noises at night. Curious about the occurrences, Ebony's youngest son, Andre, is lured to the home's shadowy and fly-infested basement, where he says he talks to a friend, Trey, who lives there. Despite her youngest son's strange behavior, Ebony focuses on her immediate concerns, financing her mother's cancer treatments and combating an active Department of Child Services case against her. Ebony's mother, Alberta, is living with the family temporarily to help bear some of her daughter's load. She also helps to act as a buffer to the abuse the children face at the hands of their Ebony, who is quick to anger and hits her kids when she feels disrespected by them. This history of abuse is why DCS social worker Cynthia establishes regular check-ins with the family.
So y'all gonna sit here and act like y'all don't know where these bruises came from on your bodies?
They said they don't remember.
Aside from her ongoing family issues, Ebony is struggling with her own personal demons. After a joyful night at a birthday party for her daughter Shantae, Ebony's alcoholic past re-emerges when she drunkenly snaps at a family friend, Miss Lawrence, souring the mood of the evening. Her closet is full of trauma, it is full of pain, and it's full of abuse, Day said about the skeletons in her character's closet. It's full of abuse she has received and inflicted, and it's also full of coping mechanisms. The rocky relationship between Ebony and Alberta is also on full display, with the two frequently going head-to-head about the abuse Ebony faced as a child.
So you want to tell me how to handle my kids now? You of all people?
And the financial tolls of Alberta's chemotherapy. But the tense family drama is put on the back burner when supernatural occurrences take place in the home, making it impossible for Ebony to ignore. After Ebony and Alberta walk into the bathroom to see the oldest son, Nate, seemingly possessed and attempting to drown Andre in the bathtub, they both realize something evil is taking over the family. While Alberta scours nearby churches in hopes of finding a priest who'd be willing to perform an exorcism at their home, Ebony encounters Bernice James, a reverend who has a history of dealing with the hauntings in their house and helping a family who were once possessed by the demons that live there.
Demons?
Yes, demons. It laughed at me. And I lost the boy.
But their meeting turns out to be unfruitful. Ebony rejects Reverend James's help and decides to go at it alone. She returns home only to find her living room filled with smoke and her mother's lifeless body on the floor with red marks around her neck.
Andre!
When her youngest son, Andre, comes downstairs emotionless to the scene in front of him, Ebony soon realizes that he is possessed with an evil spirit and is behind her mother's death. Things continue in a downward spiral a few days later when Ebony and her children take a late-night drive. In the car, Shantae reveals that she called Cynthia to help out after Alberta's death, and Ebony chastises her for it. Andre, who's been banging his head incessantly on his seat, suddenly snaps at Ebony, telling her it's her fault her mother is dead before the whites of his eyes black out. An indication he's once again possessed by an evil being. Frightened, Ebony nearly drives head-on into a semi-truck before stopping at a restaurant and asking for help. A Good Samaritan checks in on the kids still in the car, with Andre seemingly back to normal. After an evaluation at the hospital, the older kids are sent away to a church foster care while Andre is kept at the hospital for further observation. He is visited by Cynthia, who sees him convulsing and frothing at the mouth. Her concern soon turns into terror when she witnesses the boy breaking his restraints and climbing up the walls. Now realizing that his issues are bigger than just his mom's abuse, she appears to have a change of heart on the family's DCS case, even though the doctor, who she tells about Andre's behavior, downplays it as nothing out of the ordinary. Ebony, working to pick up the pieces on her now broken family, seeks out Reverend James in hopes of getting her children back. After sneaking Andre out of his hospital room, Ebony and Reverend James tie the boy to a chair in the home's living room to begin what James calls the Deliverance, an exorcism-like ritual. While pelting the boy with holy water, Andre turns into a ghoulish version of Alberta, who spews insults at James and Ebony during the process.
And you fucking half-breed whore.
The Deliverance seems to be failing, with a possessed Andre throwing around the Reverend, fatally wounding her. Before she dies, James attributes her failure to her fear, giving Ebony the holy water and telling her not to doubt herself.
I had fear.
She says the only way to successfully cast out the demon is by having no fear. When Ebony goes to finish the Deliverance in the basement, she is confronted by Andre, who says he wants the spirit out of him. But when Ebony attempts to splash him with the holy water, he pounces on her, knocking it out of her hand. He eventually re-emerges as a demon version of Ebony, fighting her and eventually using her own body against her. As the demon has its foot pressed against her neck, Ebony is suddenly transported into a dreamlike void, where she recalls happier memories of her son. She then snaps back into reality when she hears her mother's voice saying, "I know you don't want to talk to me, but you can talk to God." This gives Ebony the strength to confront the demon that has possessed her son. She rebukes it, speaks in tongues, and hurls Bible verses at it. This causes the demon to be engulfed in flames, exploding in a large fireball. When Ebony comes to, she finds Andre peacefully sleeping on the basement floor and returned to his normal self,